Welcome to Turtle Wow News with Vrograg. I'm your news anchor orc, Vrograg Fishslayer, here to bring you all the server news for the week of October 24th, 2023. In the spirit of the spookiest of seasons, I am reporting to you from the dark shadow of the ruins of Lordaeron, where the Forsaken call home. Just nearby is a ceremonial wicker man that the Forsaken burn every year to commemorate their liberation from the Lich King. But enough with the festivities, there are stories to report. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. Our top story is the countdown of the new Tel'abim EU PvP server. Excitement has been building in the Discord and in-game as people have begun considering trying out a PvP Turtle WoW experience. I did reach out to Accolix to find out if there was any more information about Friday's server launch, and we're happy to report we have an exact time, October 27th at 1 p.m. US East Coast time. Furthermore, a recently released document shows the progression schedule in the announcement thread for Tel'abim. Phase 1 will last 3 months, have Molten Core and Nixia's Lair, all custom dungeons and battlegrounds, as well as the world bosses Concavius, Darkreaver, Azergos, and Kha'Zix. Phase 2, 3, and 4 are all slated to last 2 months, while adding in their own content. Phase 2 will open Blackwing Lair, Zul'Gurub, and Emerald Sanctum, while adding in the remaining world bosses of Dragons of Nightmare, Nerubian Overseer, and Asterius. Phase 3 will be the opening of the Gates of Anchorage, with AQ20 and AQ40 available. And of course, Phase 4 will have the Scourge Invasion and Naxxramas. If you're interested in any more details, we'll leave a link to the forum post for you to read at your leisure. Remember too, that the Turtle WoW Discord now has new channels just for the Tel'abim server, in case you want to find other friends, guilds, or rivals starting their journey on the new realm. Make sure to stay tuned here or in the server announcement channel for any updates. I'll be watching and cheering you all on. Fight well and put the war back in Warcraft. Our other top news is catching up on a story we've been keeping tabs on for 4 months now. There has been some recent stirrings about the fabled class change contributors applications finally getting off the ground. Back in June, Jamie made it known that the team wanted feedback from veteran players in all classes to give feedback and share knowledge with the team as they continue to develop the classes into the future. Of course, since then, the small team has had other more pressing concerns, from the huge influx of players, server stability, launching several new realms, and releasing a huge patch. Things have started to stabilize, and evidently the team is ready to get back to these applications. The process, as I understand it, will first be for Accolix and Jamie to start filtering applicants. Next, the team in general will debate candidates' qualifications, and finally, invites will be sent out with the clear understanding that civility is a requirement, not a request. With new tier variants announced recently, and players experimenting with new gear from 1.17, the debates around class tweaks, changes, and balance have been stoked anew. We eagerly await news about candidates getting picked and hope to bring you as much information as I can. That is, if I get in. Still don't know if News Orc is a class, but here's hoping. That will round out our top stories. Let's check in with the auction house over at Market Watch. Welcome to Market Watch, where we review big market events and catch up with the commodities we've been following to catch market trends. Before we jump into the stocks, one important bulletin. It was announced on the October 17th changelog that Hyjal and Gilneas, the 2 new zones added in 1.17, will now have randomized and dynamic respawn timers for all herb and mining nodes. Furthermore, rich thorium veins and high-level herbs now have an increased chance to drop arcane crystals and black lotuses respectively. If you are heavily invested in any of these stocks, either gathering or the aftermarket, keep this in mind as likely supply for many things will drive prices down. Now, let's get into the 7 stocks that make up the SNV7, Turtle WoW's only market index, powered by WoWauctions.net. your only and best source for in-depth auction house analytics. Arcane crystals have come down nearly 25% in 2 weeks, most recently hovering just under 30 gold apiece. This marks one of the steepest declines in any stock followed by MarketWatch ever. It seems plummeting demand and a flood of supply are conspiring to crash the market on these. Black Lotuses, too, nearly matched Arcane Crystals in losing 25% of their value in 2 weeks, also remaining under 30 gold apiece. Likely the changelog and shifting priorities for the server population are contributing to this simultaneous freefall in price. Cured Rugged Hides trended down but only lost a few gold over 2 weeks. Crafting alts flooded the market to keep downward price pressure. But historically, we've seen these prices, and it is less likely that the hides will lose more value anytime soon. Grom's Blood traded even recently with only a volatility index of 16%, which is low for the erratic herb, ending just under 60 silver a leaf. Though there has been signs of some price appreciation, this commodity won't likely shift much outside of its post-September pricing under 70 silver. Defying all odds, Large Brilliant Shards is still depreciating in value, slowly trending lower in the last few weeks, losing 25 silver. It has been a steady decline for the once valued enchanting reagent. Perhaps next MarketWatch will break into the sub 3 gold valuation if trends continue. Mooncloth lost about a gold in the latest reports, but did show some wild swings up and down while the market continues stabilizing. With Bright Dream Shards still being highly sought after, but more readily farmed, we may see some more downward trajectory, but just much more slowly if at all. Stone scale eels leapt out of the ocean and into profitable waters for fishermen. On October 20th, the slippery fish jumped up, nearly doubling in price, and surprisingly stayed up there, trending almost double its original value. Historically speaking, these are uncharted waters for stone scale, and otherwise the only bright spot in a downward market. Over at the S&V 7, the great fall of Black Lotus and Arcane Crystals was felt strongly. The index finished the week at 18, a value not seen since mid-September in the run-up to the 1.17 launch. With the patch hype dying down and transferring players lessening, the market is starting to return to more manageable levels of inflation despite the server's continued popularity. This concludes this week's MarketWatch segment. As always, we'd like to thank WoWauctions.net for providing all our market data and for supporting the program. Make sure to check them out for your own market research. Remember to keep an eye on your coin, or someone else will for you. Let's go back to Vrograg. Before we jump into the changelog roundup, we wanted to bring TurtleWoW players' attention to a new utility made available to the community. Since TurtleWoW now has custom raids, a unique schedule for Darkmoon Faire, and sometimes old classic raid calendars don't work, Twitter user Blue Cobalt made a live raid and Darkmoon Faire timer webpage utility. We'd like to thank this person for helping the community with the indispensable tool that will no doubt help raiders looking for the fair or wondering when the next raid reset is happening. Make sure to give @mykobaru a follow on Twitter and thank them for their work. We'll leave a link to the calendar and their Twitter handle in the description of the video. Onto the changelog. Today we're reviewing the changelog for October 17th, 2023. It had some impactful changes that no doubt players will want to know about, so let's jump into our changelog roundup. A portion of the changelog involved further 1.17 item tweaks. Some were made to match previously made statements and patch notes like the Nemesis gloves. Some were because of coding errors like in the case of the thick obsidian breastplate, which had its strength and stamina's values swapped. And finally, other new items had their values corrected when the itemization team felt there were balance overcorrections, like in the case of the Ring of Nature's Duality, which initially came out with 1% spell hit, lost it in a previous changelog, and now has 1% spell hit once more. If you're curious about any of the items you see listed, make sure to check the changelog out for more details. Those brave souls whose resolve may be wavering in light of how difficult the Vagrant Challenge truly is, now have a way to call it quits. The changelog mentions that there is now a way to quit the challenge mode. If the gambler's fallacy has taught me anything though, it's just that there's more encouragement to keep going. You're almost there. The raiders entering the new Emerald Sanctum raid are cautioned to take note of 2 tweaks that were announced in the changelog. The boss Irenaeus had his damage increased by a flat 20%, and the Call of Nightmare ability will now ignore line of sight. Beware, raiders. Seems as if the Turtle team doesn't want the new raid to be taken lightly. One of the only 1.17 quality of life changes that were aimed at our more sneaky friends was the cleaning cloth, which is now officially delayed until 1.17.1 because of problems with its implementation. The cloth was designed to allow a character to remove weapon enhancements like sharpening stones or poisons, so other weapon enhancements like Wind Fury could be applied. Currently, most characters that are trained in it cannot find it in their survival menu, but you know who can? Rogues, because it somehow ended up in their poison making menu. This explains why some will still see the cleaning cloth on the auction house, which is still usable. Though not listed in the changelog, one other oddity facing rogues was the cooldown of Flourish. Ever since the 1.17 patch came out, rogues found their Flourish ability had a 6.67 minute cooldown, which is a far cry from the planned 40-second cooldown. Mr. TMP, who contributed to the bug report, even humorously noted that a 0 was likely added to the 40, because 400 seconds is about 6.67 minutes. According to the Git-hub, the cooldown should now be 40 seconds once more, but since cooldowns like this need to be changed client-side, it won't be displayed correctly. For any rogues interested, I will leave a link I found to the Theory Crafting channel where a manual patch is available to fix this visual bug. Evidently, this patch, posted by Leon, a Turtle WoW team member, also will fix certain issues with the invocations added to gear from Lower Karazhan. Please keep in mind that applying any manual patch is a more technical operation, so if you don't know what you're doing, ask for help or don't do anything at all. Better a working client with small issues than a broken one. A link to the Discord message will be posted below for anyone on the Turtle WoW Discord who is interested. That completes our changelog roundup and other sundry client changes. Make sure to keep an eye out for more changes coming your way with the new changelog due to come out soon. It's just about that time to wrap up the weekly Turtle WoW news broadcast. I hope you found it informative. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in catching any more of my content, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to upload weekly, and I always enjoy hearing back from the community on how I can make the program better. I won't be streaming this weekend, I'll be out of town, but last weekend we had a great time. Also, Speeds, you are invisible for me. Is that me or is that you? If time permits, I'll see about recording some more radio segments for the Turtle WoW radio team, and perhaps I'll sneak a weekday stream in here or there, so keep an eye out. I need to go soon to enjoy the Wicker Man burning ceremony, set to happen sometime soon. I wish you all the best in your endeavors here on the server or elsewhere. Be kind to one another, be safe, and as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge.